Is January 21st for that really good show. Do you really know? I think the only show that I've seen on LinkedIn and other platforms where we get to know our people from LinkedIn and who they really are. Can you believe it? This is already the 13th episode we've done. This is exciting. And we're going to be going over today to Nigeria with a very special guest of mine. We're going to find out who he is in a second. Here is the intro. See you in a bit. Show number 13.
Oluwaseyi Akinruntan.
All right, there he is. Okay, everybody, grab your airplanes, get ready, put on your seatbelts. We're gonna fly over from Arizona to Nigeria. Let's go. All right, let's bring our special guest, Ulo. Mr.
Hey,
Ulo, all the way from Nigeria. You're our second guest from Nigeria. Welcome, and how are you this evening? It is 5:40 almost, right?
yes, it is.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but you disappeared there. We can't see you.
Oh, okay. Just give me a minute.
Take your
The
time.
thing is, yeah, I'm just trying to switch on the camera. It's not Oh, okay.
Okay. And it seems like some people are writing comments here. Greetings and
Okay.
welcome, Ulu and John. So there must be a
Okay.
delay in the chat.
Yeah,
So
I
if you,
think there's a delay.
go ahead
Okay.
and
Can you see me now?
yes, I can. Welcome.
Oh, okay.
All right. Welcome, Ulo. And how are you this evening?
I'm doing very well, Omar. Thank you very much for asking. I'm doing very well indeed.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you here. Let me go ahead and put in the questions here and we're going to get started. He is a good friend of mine. He actually also participated in my Zoom party by taping some clues for me. Very wonderful guy.
Yes.
If you don't know Udo, please do connect with him. I think he's one of the top 10 people I can say on LinkedIn that I connected with. And he prefers for me to call him brother than sir. So that's how close we are. So and I also want to say, I think there's an issue with the LinkedIn commenting. If you guys, I did not read your comments, type in again because we love to see you guys commenting on here. And there might be issues. So hopefully we'll get to see you guys. If not, you can definitely watch it. Okay. If you're not ready, if you're ready, Mr. Udo, let's start with the first question. Okay.
I'm very ready, really, Omar. I
All
came
right.
in ready.
Awesome. What was your favorite thing to do as a child?
Wow. Favorite thing to do as a child? Wow. That is going to be difficult because there were actually two that were both as important to me, you know, compared to anything else. That would be studying and watching movies. I
Sporting and
loved
watching movies. Yeah.
studying,
Oh,
like
studying.
reading.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and watching movies. In fact, I loved watching movies so much that some of the customers, of my mother's supermarket, when they come to the supermarket, they would actually ask me when a particular program is going to be airing on TV. So I had the program, for various TV channels memorized. So I
Oh,
always knew which program was going to be airing. And I loved reading also comic books, Marvel, DC, um, Archie and Jughead, Reader's
that's
Digest. I read voraciously. But anything that I could lay my hands on that seemed, to have something that was going to be information that I didn't have before and that seemed like it would be useful, I read it. I read all of my dad's books, all of his books, and a complete set of encyclopedia.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
I think we all can encourage. I know, yes, a lot of kids now don't read as they used to, but back
Oh,
then
so
we
sad.
all
So
read,
sad.
and
So
our
sad.
grandparents also encouraged reading. So we would go to the store, buy a toy, and when we buy a book or something, our grandpa would be happy, and so we would read with him. So awesome,
Yes.
that's great. So I do know that
Thank
the
you.
chat is working here. I did put in a comment there, so it is working.
Okay.
So if you guys want to
Oh,
comment in
cool.
there, definitely do. We would love you guys to participate here. Okay, next question. Okay, I get along best with who? Who do you get along best with? Anybody?
Right now, there are about 5 people in all that I get along very well with. Very well. And uh, they're all online, and they're my friends from LinkedIn. Incredible connections. So right now, I would say it's Stanley Green because he's been like an unofficial mentor and big brother. That's what he really is. Because sometimes what a thing is not the title, it is the effect that one derives from it. So let me explain what I mean, by that. A person could be my colleague, but even though we only got to know each other in the office, they could be so compassionate and so kind that we end up becoming like brothers. Like for instance, you and I, Omar, you know,
Yes.
we met just a couple of months ago, but you understand how easily you and I communicate. You understand? It's
Absolutely.
like even when we've not chatted for like 2 weeks or so, when we
Yeah.
connect again, it's like we pick up right from where we left off. We never have any issues. And I think that has to do, with values and principles. So I would say for now, there are about 5 of you, including you, Omar. I have Dr. Constance, I have Kimberly, I have Bobby. I have some truly wonderful human beings that I'm connected with that I would say are like equally on the same level, are my favorite people. But right now, because of the fact that Stanley also gives me an opportunity to earn an income and seems to be like a senior brother. He asks after me how I'm doing with my job search. He gives me a lot of advice. Sometimes he actually sends me link to events that he feels would help me with my job search. I think that's what a brother does. You understand? So right now, I think if I'm supposed to pick just one person, it will be Stanley Green, of Power Thinking Corp. Really.
Yeah, he is a great guy. I had a conversation with
Oh,
him, and he, when I met
oh,
him, he gave me his phone number, and so we talked for a bit. And he does a lot of
wow.
wonderful programs. Definitely would love to
Oh.
have him later on the show. He's awesome. He does a lot of
I'll talk
wonderful
to
things.
him. I'll talk to him if you would like to have him. I'll talk with him.
Sure, sure. I'm booked until a couple of months now, but definitely. I mean, I
No
have his number,
problem. No
and I
problem.
can definitely add him on. So appreciate that. That's good. Yeah. All
Cool.
right. But
Uh,
in your personal life, is there anybody that you would say that you get along with? Somebody, a kid, a parent, somebody in your local town, that you would say.
okay. I think that's a I think that's a valid question because after all, I do have a life offline.
Yeah.
So my kids, definitely, you know. To a certain extent, I get along very well with my kids. And then I have a former colleague who's like a brother also. I just did some work for his election campaign and he won, that particular election. I
Yes.
designed all of the assets for the election, the flyers, the videos, and everything. And even the one he had his previous election, I handled the brand communications also, and he won that. And now he's the president of his Old Boys Association. So I would consider that I get along very well with him. My kids, um, my brothers, to a certain extent, and my dad. Family, the kind of family that I have is such that we don't live close to each other, you know. But because of that family bond and then the way our mind works, we kind of have the same kinds of values and principles. So to a certain extent, because of course some of us are married now, and then you have to factor in the dynamics, when a person has a wife, a husband, and all of those things, but essentially I get along very well with my brothers and my sisters. I actually have a
Beautiful.
sister in Egypt.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
Oh
awesome.
yes, thank you.
But is that the same time zone for you guys or a different time zone?
Oh, the same time zone. We're all in Nigeria apart from my immediate sister who's in Egypt.
Ah, interesting. Okay, that's awesome. All
Yeah,
right, let's move
thank
on
you.
here. I think LinkedIn is having some issues there. So if anybody wants
Oh,
to join us, please don't do the comment there. But get to know our friend Udo here. Next question. Okay, when did you start enjoying LinkedIn? I've been on LinkedIn for maybe 15 years, but I didn't really enjoy this part of it of being able to connect with people until over a year ago. And it's so nice to have genuine, real connections, as you say too,
hmm,
right? And so, when did
yes.
you realize this? When did you start LinkedIn? And when did you realize that LinkedIn is something important to connect with people?
Wow, that's a truly relevant question for all of us who are on LinkedIn, particularly if we're interested in, you know, um, developing and achieving success, in business and professionally. Because the point, let's just break it down. The point to doing anything is because you have an objective in mind. You have an expectation of a result or a benefit. You understand? If I go
Yes,
into the kitchen, it's because I want to cook. If I go
yes,
into the bedroom, it's most likely because I want to have a bathe or I want to shower. You understand?
right, yes,
Every single thing that we do in life has a reason why we do it, apart from some few things, that
yes,
we do, purely out of love and affection and all of that. So the
exactly.
thing is, I joined LinkedIn in 2009. And I must tell you, I considered it a total waste of my time and my resources, because the thing, oh, yes, I'm telling you the fact, you know.
Yeah,
Um, so,
sure.
and you must understand that I'm a Nigerian and I'm operating out of Nigeria. We have
Yeah,
we have terrible electricity supply over here, you
yes.
know.
Hmm.
For instance, I use two generators, 1 kVA and one 3.9 kVA, two four
Yeah.
seven to generate electricity. If not, I won't be online. So
Oh,
I'm not going to
okay.
come online after investing, the little resources that I have, and then I am not seeing the benefits. Because the thing is that it's like when you make an investment, you're expecting a return, a return on your investment, ROI. You understand? It's
Yes.
just like social media management also. If you're posting, creating content and posting, you want to measure performance. You want to know if your content is people are connecting with it, people are engaging with it, if it is helping you to increase your visibility and bring in sales and business opportunities. So you have to measure performance. So
Yeah.
what happened was I kept doing all of this and I was spending quite a lot, the internet subscription, the gasoline to power the generators, and all that. And I wasn't getting anything. All of my business opportunities were coming from Facebook. So
Uh-huh.
I left LinkedIn some years ago. And then, I was having a chat with a friend, who lives in London, William Chadwick. And he told me that I should give it another shot, that I should just keep at it. And then I tried. It's all of the incredible connections that I have now did not happen until 2021 or so.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Wow.
telling you, just about 3 years ago. And I've been on LinkedIn since 2009. That's 14 years, you know.
About the same. Yeah,
But
about the same for me, right? That's when I almost graduated
exactly,
college, 2010.
exactly,
It was more
exactly,
for business. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
It's no, you see, the thing is, you see, one thing about me is I'm a practical, straightforward human being. I don't deceive myself,
Mhm.
and I don't get involved in relationships or associations where people cannot speak the facts. You
Yes.
understand? Because if we cannot speak factually, it might be difficult or take longer for us to achieve what we want to achieve. I didn't come to LinkedIn, just to have fun. I came to LinkedIn in the hope that it would bring me business and professional opportunities, maybe, as a remote worker and all of that, and the last full-time remote contract that I had, you know, between February and November of 2022. It ended on the 22nd of November. I got the opportunity from Facebook, not LinkedIn. That was one of the most
Wow.
lucrative opportunity that I've gotten. Now on LinkedIn, thanks to Stanley, with Power Core, Power Thinking Core, I
Yes.
have an engagement that at least it keeps body and soul together. You understand?
Yes.
But it's not like a full-time engagement, but I'm at it. I found out that I've ended up making more friends, than I've gotten business and professional opportunities, but that is fine. Recently, I've been added as an author, to a group of people to put together an anthology, thanks to Dr. Constance, Leyland for that. So
Yes.
I'll be a published author in a couple of months, and
Wow.
then oh yes, there are a couple of beautiful opportunities that have been coming up, mainly, between Stanley Green and Dr. Constance Leyland, and then you yourself, you remember you gave me an opportunity to create a video, like an introduction for Zoom Paddy, if you remember.
Oh,
Those are the opportunities, that
yes.
we're talking about. So
Definitely.
I'm hanging in there. I'm still. I don't think that it has profited me as much as I've invested. Well, we're still in it. We're at it. Let's see how it goes.
I love that. That's awesome, Udu.
Thank you.
So I put in and posted Brian. His comment didn't show up, but it was on the LinkedIn there, and he's from Kenya. Brian from Kenya looks like a new gentleman here. I don't have his picture
Okay.
there, but check him out. He commented there, and awesome.
Oh,
Let's move
cool.
on to the next question here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever traveled outside of Nigeria, and where? If so,
No, I have not.
where would
Um,
you love to travel to if you could?
if I tell you, okay. I'm really fascinated with Switzerland.
Okay.
Very
Why?
fascinated with Switzerland. Um, you know, as a student, as a lifelong student, I've
Mm.
read extensively. I've kept track of developments in various countries, from pre First World War, post, the First World War, pre, the Second World War, and post the Second World War. So it fascinates me, and even currently, so it fascinates me that a country could be so well organized and put itself in a place, within the Committee of Nations globally, that even when there are wars, it remains neutral. And then during peacetime, you hardly hear of any scandal from Switzerland.
Wow.
When you look at all of the issues that are taking place in United States, with the gender fluidity and all of those things, the left and the right, and wokeism and all of those things. Canada, Justin Trudeau, freezing people's accounts, truck drivers protesting, and all of those things. The war in Ukraine, the one in Gaza, between Israel and Hamas and all of those things. Switzerland has been able to make itself so relevant and so important somehow, that I don't understand, to the world, that even when people are fighting, countries are fighting, they say, oh, please, let's leave this place, you know. So I'm fascinated. I would love to see the people who live in that country. I would love to, interact with the energy in such an environment. Or, other places I would have loved to go to would be Tibet, Cairo, and so on. Tibet, because of Buddhism. I would love to have an experience of that environment. Cairo,
Wow.
of course, to see the pyramids naturally.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and then
Thank you.
Switzerland is a neutral country, and so that's definitely an interesting place to visit. I'm very sure about that. That's
Awesome.
awesome. I want to
Sure.
say hello to the guest who was here last week. I'm John from India. Greetings and
Oh,
welcome to Oluwasi and good old Omar. Again, the comments are not coming in, but I'm pasting them in here. He is a good guy. You
okay.
can watch the replay from last week on the channel. Do you really know? Or you can put in live with Omar, the number two. You can check that
Okay.
out on the YouTube channel
Cool.
where this will be shown
Sure.
as well. Other shows there. All right, Uno, let's
Cool.
continue here. All right, here we go. Okay, coffee or tea? A little bit of a break there. Coffee or tea?
Whoa.
What do you prefer?
See.
Tea. You're a tea guy.
Yes.
How about a coffee?
Always.
Do you get a coffee once in a while, or
Yeah. Let me share a story with you about my coffee thing.
sure?
When I was working in the bank, the first bank I ever worked with,
Yeah.
so every month they will give us a can of beverage, cocoa. They
Mm.
will give us a can of Nestle coffee. I
Yes.
think it's a global brand.
Yes.
And they would give us a can, of about 850 grams of
Aha.
powdered milk, evaporated, powdered milk, and
Yes.
a box of sugar, cubes. It's called St. Louis.
Ah, cool.
So that was my first job in the bank. And they would give, and the thing is, if you know Nigeria, a lot of families cannot afford that. When I say a lot of families, probably about 40% of families in Nigeria cannot have that. That was like a luxury,
Yeah.
and this was something that this bank would give each staff at the end of every month, at the end of every month, and
Yeah.
it will be in the drawer in my office, So I used to love my coffee very strong. When I mean very strong, I'm talking about several spoons in my cup. And then
Yeah.
I would use, powdered milk to cover it, it would be so sweet. So it got to a point, I actually had my hand shaking. That was how much caffeinated that I was. It was such a serious thing that my supervisor who got
Wow.
me into the bank had
Yeah.
to take me to the person, you know, who connected me with him for him to get me employed. Like,
Yeah.
in Nigeria, in Africa, we tend to care about one another to a certain extent. Once people care
Yeah.
about you, they take you in, they adopt you like a brother. So he actually took me to him and said, "You need to talk to this boy. I don't know what's going on. The coffee is taking is too much before something will go wrong." He did that because so that if something happens, it will be on record that he had come to explain to the person that brought me into the bank. So what happened was eventually when I stopped taking it, I never went back. So I'm this kind of person that when I like something, I get really involved in it. So I'm very careful the kinds of things that I touch and I go into. But I love the aroma. It's incredible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're also a
So
good
what I
story.
do, I do,
I
I
love
do Lipton. You can see, right?
Lipton tea. So you're a tea guy. Awesome. Awesome.
For
Awesome. If
now,
for
because
now,
I don't
okay.
want any, yeah, I don't want addictions.
Exactly. Anybody in the audience, I want to say hello to Martha too. I'm glad the chat is working. If you guys, what do you guys think? If you guys want to vote, coffee or tea, what do you guys had this morning, or what do you prefer having when you guys are off? But our friend here, or our guest, wonderful from Nigeria, prefers tea, so that's good. I've had that before. For me, it's a mix. I mean, I'm not a coffee person, but when I do have it, I'll have coffee with milk once in a while, or I have tea. And so I have some family members who are every single day they have to have 2 or 3 cups a day. I'm not that way. I don't know. I just maybe the taste of it. I never liked it, but I don't know. When I put it with milk or I put chocolate in it or something, it just tastes better. Chocolate milk is a little bit better, or cocoa kind of thing. Yeah. So here's Martha saying that she had coffee today. Excellent. Well, here we go. Looks like it's working. I'm glad. I'm glad. One person is better than no people, right? Okay. Okay. That's
Exactly.
all right. Let's go on to the next question here. All right. Okay. What are you so passionate about, Udo?
Ha.
This is a
Ah,
tricky one, but I know you're
that's
passionate about a lot of things,
the thing is, that's a very, very interesting question because it has to do with my sense of life purpose. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that when people have genuine passion, for something or for someone, I actually feel that in a mysterious way, it keeps them alive for longer. It keeps them younger. I have a feeling that that's what passion does. So, to be honest with you, three things. First of all, I'm passionate about God. I have to say that. But I say that not in a religious way. I'm a very open-minded person. I have friends that are atheists. People who don't believe in God and all of that. I won't mention names. We get along fabulously. Then I'm passionate about my children. The reason why I'm passionate about my children is because I feel that when you're a parent, you need to understand the importance. You need to understand, you know, um, the critical nature of your role, because what you're doing is that you're having hands-on um, impact in creating people that will go out into the world and become human beings and interact with people. So I feel that it's a high level of responsibility because if a family turns out an individual that is callous, lacks compassion, lacks integrity, is thoughtless, self-involved, selfish, feels that other people exist, to satisfy their needs, then we're going to have a problem in the world. And it all begins in the home. So I have a passion for my kids. I try to communicate to them, first and foremost, to be people with integrity. Integrity is very key. I try to communicate to them to be as fair and as compassionate as possible. Now, I'm not expecting them to be doormats. I expect them to be firm at certain points if they have to be, but they must find a way to communicate themselves, and then ultimately they must be people who create value, because if a person doesn't create value in this world, Poverty cannot be too far. But finally, my passion is computing.
I love that.
Computing.
I
It
love that.
makes me happy. Once I'm at the PC, I'm actually sitting down at my system here. I've got 3 monitors on my HPZ book laptop. When I'm here, it's like I've won a superhero suit. Like I've gone into a kind of exoskeleton. Nothing can touch me in here. I find peace. I find comfort. I find a sense of fulfillment, because through this, I'm able to create value, that is relevant to, the business or professional operations of a lot of people. And for me to do that while I'm a Nigerian in Nigeria, to me, that means a lot, because my country has a reputation for scammers. So for me to be connecting with people that I can chat with, and then they trust me enough to send me money, give me a job, and I do it, and they're happy and they want the relationship to continue. That is incredible. In a way, that's like a miracle. Every miracle doesn't have to be a religious one. It doesn't have to be like, water being turned into wine. When things happen that are unexpected, that are rare, for people to believe in me, even when they haven't actually seen me physically, that's incredible. So I have an incredible passion for computing. I usually stay at the system until sometimes I start pressing the wrong keyboard when I'm that tired. I'm sleeping, but I don't want to leave, but then
Yeah.
eventually I've slept at the system before, so
Wow.
it
Amazing.
keeps me alive. It gives me a purpose. It gives me a reason.
Yeah.
It's deeply interwoven into my sense, of self-worth. Because without it, what other value can I give apart from being a parent? You understand? And that is internal. That's my family. I have a feeling that if, apart from the kind of person that I am, if I didn't have value, you would not probably have invited me to this show. So we must all have value. We need to be able to give something, to be a healthy member, of a society. We take and we give. We take and we give. That's how it is, you know.
Absolutely. No, I love that. I mean, and I can remember the first meeting we had, and you mentioned that you
Yes,
wanted to debug the idea that Nigerians are all scammers, right? And you've proven that,
yes.
and that's not
Thank
all. I
you.
mean, like probably I would say at least a dozen or 10 who are from Nigeria who are very good, legit people.
Thank you.
But I met people from Gambia who only want money from you, So it's a different thing.
Oh,
It's unfortunate, But yeah, that's beautiful. And would you actually say what you're sitting there is your man cave where you actually have peace? Because all men have that, right? Would you say
I
that?
do. I do.
That's
It's my
awesome.
place.
Yes,
It's
yes,
my place of peace. It's
beautiful.
like my place of refuge. You know.
I love that. Let's go to the
Thank
next
you.
one here. Let's go to the next question. Okay. So, teach us a word in your language here. So, what is the language that you mainly speak? I know English, but also I know you showed that in our program that we did. Let's learn a wonderful word from your language. And then if you type it in there, I can put it for the audience over there in the private
Okay.
chat.
Let
If
me.
you want to learn a language for you, so there's a private chat there. You can type it in there.
Okay.
We want to learn a language, and I'll put it in the
Okay.
comments here for people to uh, learn.
Oh, okay. Let me try and type it in. I'm on my phone. I'm not on the laptop. So
Hmm.
let's see if I
Oh
can
wow, okay,
type.
that's
Yeah.
up when you're on your phone. That's awesome. You are
Oh,
so clear.
yeah.
You're using HD
Oh,
7.5.
yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
yeah. Thank you. So
Awesome.
I'm trying to see where I can type.
So right in the
Uh,
there's a private chat right at the bottom corner there.
oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I see it.
Put it there,
Oh,
and I'll put
okay.
it
So,
in for the audience here.
but it's locked. So how
It's
am I
locked.
gonna?
Click
Yeah, it
on it.
says
Click on the
privately
arrow
talk
there.
with it.
Are you able to click it?
Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to see.
Okay, like I typed
Okay.
something in there for you.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Now I can type to you. Yes. Okay. So let me think. Let me think. I want a word that would have some significance. that will be
Yeah.
profound. Not, yeah, not because of, I want something that people knowing it would arouse their interest in my culture, my language, and my people. So the other language that I speak and that I love is actually Yoruba. You know, I have like equal ability really to speak both English and Yoruba equal. I
Oh,
can write both. I can put sign. Because in my language you have signs. On the vowels. Like how you pronounce that particular vowel in a word. Okay, so let me think about it.
I got you by surprise on this one here. It's a good one here, but definitely think of a
Very
good
good one.
word.
Very good one. And then, I have to try and make it count. It has to have some kind of meaning. So I just don't want
Yeah,
to throw any word to you.
sure.
Uh, okay, I will use a proverb.
Okay,
There's a proverb in my language. I'll type it in now. Ishe
sure.
ni ogun ishe. Then let me explain it before I start typing.
Yeah, type it in there
Ishe.
and I'll share it with everybody, and then we can talk about
Okay,
it.
beautiful. So let me do that. Hmm, this is it. I think this is just brilliant. I love this particular one. So I just sent it to you.
Okay, let me put it up here in the chat. One moment.
Okay.
Okay, we should be able to see it here any second now. Okay,
Okay.
there it is. Okay, so it has yours, but then it's actually the bottom part of it there, right? So if we take
Okay.
it starts with the I letter, right?
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
maybe better to remove that part, and there we go. We'll do it that way.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, can you see it there? Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Ishe.
Sure.
Ishe ni ogun ishe. Yes.
Okay. Es. How do you
Yes.
say it? Esne
Ishe.
ogen
Ishe.
ishe
Ishe. Yes. That's close enough. Ishe.
ishe
Good. Good. Ni
ni
ogun
ogun
ishe.
ishe again. Ishe ne
Na-
ogun ishe. Nice.
yes. Not bad.
Explain the word and what it means. Love it.
Okay. What this says is that work is the antidote for poverty, essentially. That's what it means.
Wow.
But literally, what it says is that work is the medicine against poverty. That's what it says, literally. But if we're interpreting, we will say working is the antidote, against poverty. If you work, you might not be rich, you might not be wealthy, but the thing is that you won't starve all the time. Yeah, granted, you might starve some of the time. Yeah, that is possible when you work, but that is only temporary. Eventually, if you keep at it, more and more people will know you. You will create a reputation for that particular field that you're in, and people will start coming in. People will start calling, asking you, okay, I want to have this done. As I'm talking to you now, I have about 3 websites pending. When I say pending, 2 concluded. 1 is just for them to make payment. I'm 51 years old. I've been at this thing. I've gone through hardship that could have made me to go into a lot of things. I actually had people over here in my country that came to me, younger people that felt that, oh, bros, you're so good, you're brilliant, you're incredible when you speak, your knowledge in computing. You should not be suffering. You should not be living in a one-room apartment, with your 3 kids. They wanted, they made a lot of offers, to scam. I had a friend. I have a friend that I've known for almost a decade now, who's in Reading, in Pennsylvania. His name is Brian Zena. They wanted me to get his account number and give it to them, to use for scam, you know.
Wow.
And yeah, some of these guys, you don't just tell them no, you string them along, so that they will not just get upset. And I told Brian about it, and I mean, how do you want me to give you a guy's number so that people will pay into a scam, football scholarship program? And then when FBI starts to investigate, is it not the guy that they will go to? I can't
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not perfect. If you know me, I get angry, sometimes when people don't do the right thing that they're supposed to do, or they
I
take me
agree.
for granted or do not respect
Sure.
me. I mean, but that is basic. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying that I'm a hero or like I'm a saint,
Yeah.
but it's about one's core values, you know. I'm not
Yeah.
going to take money from someone and then maybe the person will commit suicide. That means I actually killed that person. Really, it's that simple. When they told me that at that time, and I asked them, okay, so what happened? They said they don't care. That was their business.
Yeah.
I'm not those kinds of people. If you start working with them, they can even kill you, because
Exactly.
once money comes in and it's time to share, they can decide that, okay, let's just kill this guy. You know. So
Amazing.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's no honor among thieves. And look at me today. Look at me today. I'm not wealthy by any means, but I have you, I have Stanley, I have Dr. Constance, I have Dr. Noon, I have. Do you know that Nicole recently, Nicole and Guy, just called me and asked me if I wanted an Amazon, what do they call them, gift card. I didn't ask her for anything. She had it. Somebody wanted to give it away. I think it was Danielle. And she asked me. The thing is still sitting down in my email because I've never used gift cards before. I don't even know how to convert it to cash. That is what I'm talking about. It's about being compassionate, being fair, being a person of integrity. I know that hunger is not a good thing. I know. But I would prefer to borrow money. I would prefer to buy things on credit and owe people. That's what I used to do then. It got to a point that sometimes I can't go out until it is dark, so that some people that I already owe will not see me. I have to wait till about 7 p.m. when it was dark so that I would take. Sometimes there were some places I cannot go through. Do you understand? I have to pass other places and go to new, and then I have to start going further and further away from where I was living so that I can get
Exactly.
food to feed my kids. But look at me today, you know,
Yeah.
Power Thinking Corp pays me every week in dollars.
Wow.
Every
Uh-huh.
week.
Wow.
It's not much, but it is something, and when you have a solid relationship with people, as they grow,
Yeah.
the opportunity that they give you would also grow. That is how it works, you know. So I'm not
Absolutely.
saying you would. Yeah, I'm not saying that if a person has values and principles and integrity and they stay on it, that automatically, one fairy tale godmother will come and, like Cinderella, transform
Yeah.
your life because you're a good person. No, it's
Yeah.
tough. It's hard. You will
Yes.
see your kids crying, and you have just a pack of biscuit with 5 sticks in it that you have to give them. You will go through a lot of incredible, difficult things. But if you just try and hold on long enough, you won't die, and then opportunities will come, you know. So that's just my thoughts about, that proverb, Ishe ni ogun ishe, meaning that
Yeah.
you
We have.
work. I feel that
Perfect.
work is the highest form of worship, really,
Perfect.
you know.
Yeah, that's
Thank you.
true. I think there's some kind of a connection issue. Can you still hear me, or are we?
Oh, I can hear you very
Okay,
clear.
perfect.
I
You're
can hear
frozen
you.
on there, but we're almost done here. If you
Oh,
guys
okay.
are commenting from the phone, sometimes it doesn't pick up. But I want to say hello to Tanya. She said, "Good morning from Minnesota." I see the post there. Appreciate you
Hi.
joining us, Tanya. I cannot see your post on here. I'm sorry. And then LinkedIn user, I think that is Melissa. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. And
Sorry, is that Melissa Houston?
no, Melissa,
Oh,
what was
okay.
it? Melissa Patrick? Yeah, she's
Oh,
from
okay.
Kudos, a different
Hi.
one.
Oh,
And
okay.
so, yeah, appreciate that. And let me go. We have just a couple more questions here and we'll be done. Okay, your favorite
Cool.
hobby. I think we mentioned this one already. Very quickly, Udo.
Uh,
Oh, okay. The
you
questions,
said?
let's bring them back in. The questions got terminated. Let me bring them back in here.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Okay. Having some tech issues with LinkedIn today. They're just
It happens. It
there we
happens.
go. Okay, your favorite hobby. I think you mentioned this, but what is your favorite hobby?
Now, the thing is, computing is, almost like my life after God and my kids. I won't consider computing a hobby, So, what I would call a hobby is table tennis. I love table tennis as a
Table
hobby.
tennis. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you.
Do you play that a lot often or once in a while?
Oh, yeah, it's been a while now because, I'm a father. I'm looking for a job. I'm looking for money to care for the family. So even movies now, I hardly watch movies, hardly ever, but that's part of life. There's, the thing is that you have to pay the price for the kind of life you want to have in the future now. You pay the price now. That's how it works, you know. And fortunately for me, I'm the kind of person that thinks, objectively and critically. I can see the progress that I'm making, and I'm not interested in quick progress. I'm not interested in shortcuts. Some of the relationships that I've formed so far on LinkedIn, I have a feeling that they're going to be lifetime relationships, and it will only get better. So there will be time for me to play table tennis. I think the last time I played it must have been in the early 20,000, like
Okay.
2000 and maybe 10 or so. That was the last time I played it. But I used to play for my school. I used to play for my dormitory, because my school, I was in a boarding school, even in the high school and all that. So I actually love it. It's once I have the means, I'm gonna get a standard Olympic, size table board and bats. You know.
That's great. And the last
Thank you.
question that I ask every single person, if I would invent an item to help mankind, what would it be here? What would it be? This is a built
Uh,
question.
uh, I think what I would love is this. If you watch the movie Trading Places, with Dan
Uh-huh.
Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy,
Sure.
it will show you that in many cases or in some cases, people end up doing the things that they do, not really because they're bad people, you know, but sometimes, they're forced into those circumstances. It's not all of us who have the grace, or the willpower, to abstain from certain things, particularly crime. you know Not everybody can do that. So one of the things that I wish could be done is that you have Fiverr, you have Upwork and all of those things, even freelancer and all of that. I've spent years on some of those platforms, but I wished that one of these brilliant guys, Elon Musk, Bill Gates, or someone who not only has the intelligence, the brilliance and the genius, to come up with solutions, but also has the resources to make it happen, will create this global platform, where people can just sign into, and it will be like a dating site, but instead it will match people to opportunities. I'm not talking about long thing. I'm not talking about complex things. It will just match you to tasks that you can do in minutes, and each one will carry the amount of money, that it would pay you. and that would be accessible by anyone. The thing is, Upwork and Fiverr, they're complicated. You have connects, you have credit, and this and that. No, I'm not talking about something like that. I want something where once you sign in, even when you're sleeping, SMS alert can come into your inbox based on the algorithm, from that site, and says, okay, just like on LinkedIn jobs, you match 3 or 4 tasks, it will list the tasks for you and how much you get for each task, regardless of your religion, regardless of your geographical location, regardless, as long as you're willing to work. And then it will ask you to tell you that you have 6 hours to either accept those tasks or not, so that they can now be made available to somebody else. If we can do things like that, that would make it possible for people anywhere in the world to do simple things and make some money. $1 is like 1,000 naira in Nigeria. you know some
Yes.
families yeah, some families live on less than that in a month.
Oh wow.
I
Okay.
mean, in a week. I know babies die, children die because parents cannot afford to pay 50 cents for malaria drugs,
Wow.
and we want to go to Mars and all of those things. I think people are dying on Earth, you know. That's what I would love. I would love that kind of system, that kind of platform.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I want to also acknowledge Tanya. I'm so sorry I cannot see your comments here, but I see it on the website. She says, I
Awesome.
love this analogy using trading places that you mentioned. And also, she's saying,
Thank
I
you.
love loving the guest and the topic. So, this is
Oh,
Tanya, I'm
thank
so
you.
sorry I can't see here, but
Thank
if you
you.
can join from a computer, maybe we can see it. LinkedIn has a lot of issues. I'm trying to put your comment in here so you can see it, and we would love to do that. So this is her comment here that she mentioned.
Oh,
So that's it. And
wow.
Tanya is
Wow.
from
Thank you.
Minnesota. Appreciate you joining
Oh,
us, Tanya.
Minnesota. I love
Minnesota, yes.
Minnesota.
I'm gonna put her.
Cool.
You can guys check her out on there on the comments on the website. You can see there. So, all right, we are
Beautiful.
coming to an end to the show here. Mr. Udo, tell us your
Yeah.
closing remarks, and I appreciate you joining me here all the way from Nigeria. It was a
My
pleasure to have
pleasure.
you. You are the second guest from Nigeria that I interviewed,
Wow.
and
Wow.
tell us your closing remarks. And if any audience have anything to say, please. This is it. Last few minutes, and tell us what you're all about.
Okay. So, basically, I spent about 28 years of my life in brand communications, IT specifically. I can uncouple a computer. I started in those early days where you could buy the CPU, the SCSI card, you assemble your own computer, so that is, my life to a certain extent. But now the thing is that is my vocation. That is what I love to do. But before all of those things, I'm a human being. So I'm very particular about compassion. I will call on anyone out there, I'm not saying it is easy, and I'm not in any position to expect anything of anyone. You understand? But anywhere that you are, stand for something, that has enduring value, stand for integrity, stand for fairness, stand for compassion. You understand? Now, the thing is that the way that we fight what is not good, or what we kind of call evil or darkness, is by right where we are, in the place that we are, with the power that we have, we make a stand. We don't have to go and join a protest, a demonstration somewhere. No, just in your own small sphere of influence, when you can make that stand. I'm not saying endanger your job. You understand? I'm mature enough to understand that sometimes you can be working in a place and you might see things that you're not comfortable with. I'm not saying you should become a messiah. You understand? You must choose carefully, because if you do something, because you're making a stand at your workplace and you lose your job, then who's going to have your back? You understand? So there has to be some kind of balance. But The more we do things like this, for instance, Omar, what we are doing is that we're creating, a tighter connection, globally. You understand? You're over there. I've never met you physically, and yet we're able to create things, and that's what I tell people, that I'm interested in value-based associations. You understand? Because I really believe that when two people connect, there's a potential, for creating something greater and something new that individually we would not have been able to create. I mean, it's just like sodium and chlorine. Chlorine is actually a poisonous gas separately.
Yeah.
But when you bring sodium and chlorine together, it becomes table
Yes.
salt that we all
Right.
need, and the mountain goats actually climb to go and lick off of the sides, of mountain cliffs, in some places in Asia. So let's love sincerely, let's give, let's help when we can. You know, if somebody needs and you have it, give. If it will not harm you, if it will not make you uncomfortable, you understand? And I'm not saying give, indefinitely, in such a way that is unsustainable. If what the person needs would enable them to become more empowered to be independent, if you can, why not? I won't be here if a couple of people haven't helped me and supported me in my time of need, including Omar. That's
Yes.
the
Yes.
fact.
Absolutely.
That's the
Exactly.
fact. You know,
Right.
by
Yeah.
supporting one another, we can rise together. That's just a fact.
I agree. Yep. If you see somebody
Thank you.
who, like me, who has the potential, who can help somebody, help them out. Like Udo had some skill. I thought I can use him to do some clues for me. He's excellent because we can learn about the culture about Nigeria. We can learn about that,
Yeah.
and that's what we need to do. We need to learn about people from around the world, and see who they are. So those are some good advice. I know we went way over the time. It's typically 30 minutes, but this was such an interesting talk, and this is rare. But we're almost at an hour here, which is amazing. We'll be coming back in the next week or two for more guests, guest number 14 and 15. I always like to keep them a surprise until I see the post there. So it's
Cool.
always going to be a new guest. We'll be taping of the kids show, and then your kid will be also joining, right? He'll be participating
Oh,
pretty soon.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I
we'll get
remember.
that information out to you pretty soon. I have a lot of students who signed up, so it's going to be interesting.
Okay.
Donald Cohen's grandson also signed up, so that would be interesting.
Oh,
So we will see how that goes. So we're putting things together and letting things start up pretty soon here, and I'm excited to have that starting up. And I want to appreciate you, Mr. Udo, for joining us. It's been an exciting episode
pleasure is
today
mine.
of Do You Really Know? We got to know you. You guys can watch it on my channel, which is Live with Omar, the number two on there. If I become more creative, I can change that name later. And then you can
Yeah.
also see it on the LinkedIn there, the feedback. And it's very interesting and very good to have Mr. Udo with us. I want to say thank you guys for joining us.
Thank
One
you.
one more
Thank
word
you.
from you, and then we are out.
Uh,
One more word.
I wish you all stellar success in all of your endeavors. In all of your endeavors. If you have anything that you have a need for, graphic, web design, brand communications, feel free to reach out to me. I'm a very reasonable person. I work with people more like friends, and not really as a detached, business. No, I want to help you
Perfect.
succeed if I can.
Well, so and with that, I just want to say Tanya wrote the last one. I agree, Omar. Have a wonderful and blessed week ahead. And so sorry I can't see the comments in here. You guys have a good week. See you next time. Bye bye.